Welcome everyone to our 7th class of our productivity course. And today we're talking about time control. Hi, my name is Juan Llerena. I'm a marketing consultant and engagement and motivational speaker. Time flies when we're having fun, right? But the opposite is that time is slow when we're not really enjoying what we're doing or when it just feels like work that we don't like to do. It is important that we use good time, and it is important that we use our time wisely, especially when we're trying to become more productive, so we can really enjoy and have the fulfillment of doing things right and being able to open opportunities for us to do other things. So my disclosure for this class is that although there are many tools that are available for time tracking, and that's what we're going to cover here today, it's really going to be impossible to mention all of them. So that's one thing that you need to be aware. There's more. These are a couple that I've tried. Now, I don't personally use time tracking tool unless I'm working on a specific project. I do time tracking for a specific project, but I don't do time tracking for everything that I do. So it really depends on what the level is that you would like to keep track of your time. I'm not a fan of spending time just tracking everything you do, because then all of a sudden you're gonna find out that you're just really all you're doing is just tracking your time, and then you're wasting time just by tracking it. And if you do not have a real reason and a good purpose and a good use to track your time in detail, then don't. Okay. Now, another disclosure that I want to have and to say is that it doesn't matter how many time tracking tools there are. If you are not really committed to improve your productivity, they're not really going to help you. If you're not really committed to be a better person by using your time better so you can dedicate it to things that are really important, then it doesn't really count. Okay, so your best time tracking tool or your best productivity tool to control your time is your consciousness to know what you're doing and to realize how you can be utilizing that time better. So we have covered topics such as efficiency and effectiveness, productivity overall in this course, but we also have discussed about the different techniques and the different reasons why you're not being as productive as you could. We have discussed a different approach and different strategies to overcome that. So it's your commitment and it's really up to you. Now let's just start with some fine facts. So first, we need to find facts about how we're spending our time. Now, perception is reality. This has been said so much for customers about businesses, for businesses about their own business, and how people perceive their time is also a perception. So first we need to start talking about finding facts. We need to realize that our perception is our reality. So how are we going to start managing our time and do our time tracking? It will be, first we have to find facts. We need to find those facts. First we're going to need to find facts to realize how we're spending our time, because perception is your reality. You may have the perception that you are utilizing your time in a specific way and in a correct way, but if you don't track it, then you're not really gonna know, and that's what we're trying to find out. Statistics says that 6 out of 7 people are incorrect estimating how they spend their time, because we're all too busy doing what's urgent and important stuff. Then probably the last thing we are thinking about is how to track our time and find out how we're spending our time. But there are many reasons why you should consider tracking your time, specifically when we're talking about managing people, when we're talking about how to control their usage of their time, and also when we are dedicating our time to our customers if we are offering service. Okay, so if you can put a specific value to your time when you're servicing customers and you're working on different projects for them, and you are billing on a time basis or an objective basis, well, you will need to value that and figure out how much you're going to charge somebody, right? So time tracking is a real good tool for you to know how much or how many resources are going towards specific tasks in a project. So then you can bill it, okay? So if you are billing your time tracking, it might be for you. Or also if you want to know how your team is doing. Time tracking also gives us an opportunity to quickly get a picture of how we're spending, again, our time. And because our time is a limited resource and it's costing us money, or is even costing us some opportunities, whether they're on our own or within our teams, then time tracking will really allow us to, okay, so how are we going to do this? So what kind of approach are we going to take in the rest of the class? And first, quickly, we will review different applications. We're going to talk specifically about 2 of them, and each one has a free trial version. So you don't have to spend any money to try out things. The reason why we're presenting these two applications that are available, well, there's definitely more, but those two are the ones that I've tried. But another full disclosure, I am not getting any pay commission or anything if you decide to overpurchase, okay? I'm just sharing what I know because I really want to help you. And then I will try to recommend the ones that I think are the better ones, and it's your job to find out which one suits you better, okay? There's other tools that you can research on your own as well, but I think this will help you get started. The first one we're going to talk about is called Get Harvest, and their website is getharvest.com. Why you want to use this one? Well, I can probably talk to you more about their options, and the screenshots are actually taken from their own website. So these are their own pictures and their own artwork. And many of the information here, I actually decided to take it from their website because it will help me explain better what this is all about. So Get Harvest allows you to create tasks. Every time you start a task, you need to track that activity. So you have like a stop and start function, like you can see right here on this side of the screen. You can break down activities by clients, and let's take a look at this screen as well, where you can have the different companies. You can assign how much time you have spent, by the minute, on each one of these activities for each one of your clients and specific days of the week. So you can move through like a timeline or a calendar-based screen, and that will allow you to see those numbers. You can break down activities by clients, like I said. So if you again charge by the hour, you can get an accurate total per service provided. It depends on how you want to manage that and how you are going to bill your customer. But at least if you have an estimated cost that you have presented at the beginning as a proposal and you have been accepted, when you probably can charge more than that unless you go into you incur into some changes during the project. But at least it will give you an idea of how close you are. And maybe if you are over budget in your time for or if you were under budget on your total cost that you charge versus what it really costs you, you can always negotiate with your client depending on the kind of relationship you have. But if that's not the case, well, you can always go back to your own team or to check with your own processes and find out where you spend more time than you had planned and why. Right? So then there's an opportunity for improvement, so you can lower your cost and stay within your budget. You can daily, with this tool, Get Harvest, you can track time as you work because it has flexible tracking that lets you track your time as you work or enter hours after you're done. So you can do it either one of the two ways. And you can also track with precision because it allows you to track time to specific clients, projects, and tasks. So it allows you to break it down into projects, sub-projects, or tasks, and that knows to remember exactly what you work on. So if you are like you run into a bump and then later on you wanted to, and then it took you more time, and then you want to go back and look at the activities and you want to know why it took you so long, it will be easier to have a note reminder that it will explain why that happened, so you can address it later on. Also, Get Harvest allows you to have a weekly review of your of your week, evidently. And as we can see here in the week, you can even input per different client or per different project the amounts of time that you have taken to complete certain tasks or certain projects. So you can review your time and see what you tracked for the entire week. It's something that you can use on a Mac app to start a timer from your desktop or the Chrome extension to track time from your browser. So it's easier to do, and you don't even have to go open a new tab to do it. You can just do it within your applications. And if you run into a meeting at a client's office, then they have the mobile apps that will keep you covered. It also allows you to track time and expenses, because with this Get Harvest, you can bring time and expense tracking all in one place. So your tracking expenses is as easy as snapping a picture. So you take a photo of your receipt, add details, and all these nice perks that technology can really allow you to do. Team Tracker also allows you to find out who's tracking time, who's overworked, and who can handle more on their plate, right? So in this slideshow here that we have, we can actually tell who's working, who's worked too many hours, and maybe who has room for taking on some of the workload from somebody else. And as you can see here, you can also keep track of time by people in your own team, or the same way as people that can be contractors. So it allows you to have a communication back and forth, not only with people within your team in the organization or in your company, but also with people that collaborate with you from, that you outsource their services. And why is it important to keep track of time of your teams? Well, because it can help you stop burnout before it happens. You can compare capacity to actual track time and see who's overworked and who might not be working enough. So you can try to shift things around and balance things a little better. You can find out how much people are working and make quick decisions, trying to find what the trends are and trying to see who's working how many hours week by week. And this will allow you to also make more decisions, not only project-based, but also in the long term, depending on how you are figuring out your payment options with them. And if you want to know as well who's been working on specific projects for particular upcoming projects, for instance, you want to know you have a potential client that is looking for a proposal, and maybe in the past, maybe 2 years ago, you have worked for somebody related to the same type of industry, and you would like to work, if you're working with bigger teams, maybe you want to find out who's worked on another client that has a similar project. Well, you can always go back and find out who worked on that project and what they did, so you can maybe get information a little closer, better insights as far as how to plan for the proposal, and maybe just get more experienced people on that particular field with similar project into the next proposal. So then you got better seasoned people and maybe getting more chances to earn that project. So Get Harvest really gives you flexibility to control your own time, but also like team settings, and that's what I like about Get Harvest. The next one we're gonna discuss here today is Rescue Time. So their website again is rescuetime.com. So let's take a look at this slide, and this is also sourced from rescuetime.com website. It summarizes in this snapshot the different features that they have. So it lets you set alerts when you know you want to spend a certain amount of time on an activity, and it will let you know how much do you have spent on that and how much you have left in that activity. It also allows you to log highlights about what you accomplished during the day, so it gives you that sense of fulfillment for those that are looking for immediate satisfaction on the different activities they're completing instead of looking at the big picture. Remember when we discussed before as far as breaking down a big project into smaller tasks or a big workload into a smaller project? Well, then you can celebrate a small milestone. So how much time do you spend on email in meetings? Rescue Time gives you the answers as long as you track that. But I don't really like to track all those details unless they're attached to a customer, right? Because I'm just making a conscious effort every day to incorporate that thought process in my everyday life. Also, Rescue Time allows you to time measurement when you want it. You can pause something you're working on and quit at any time, and then you can come back to it again and then resume. So you're always in complete control, and Rescue Time will block to avoid distractions. The reality is that you can always find a way to cheat. You can go to your phone, you can go to another computer if you want to do it, but you will have to make that conscious decision. The same thing with time management and time control. If you make a conscious decision about your decision, how you spend your time, and to have a better control on your time, to improve your productivity, the moment you decide that and you start applying those little concepts every day, the moment you wake up, how you organize your list of things to do, whether you decide that some tasks are important or some tasks are urgent, and that you start working on what's important and maybe taking care of the urgent stuff first, and you start incorporating all these other tasks that we have discussed and these strategies throughout the entire course, then you're gonna find that a lot of this is up to you. You can't rely so much into an application, because let's say the application is no longer available. So what is going to happen? Are you going to go back to your old ways? And I hope that it's not the case, because once you make a conscious decision about something and then you start seeing the benefits from it, and then you develop a pattern and a habit and a good habit, then you're gonna see that that's gonna stick with you. Rescue Time, and I wanted to mention this, an opportunity to gain perspective, because you can detect places where there are some inefficiencies in your day and find out that there are some activities that are taking longer than you thought they would. The same thing for like a team setting. You might detect some inefficiencies that you will know otherwise. It allows you to set goals, and this is a perfect example, like spending less than an hour per day on email to help you stay focused. So if it tracks when you're doing emails and you don't want to spend more than 1 hour on sending emails every day, Rescue Time will track that for you. It will help you stay focused. And we have talked about being laser focused when we are trying to improve our productivity. And again, nothing different than before. It allows you to take action, because you can set alarms as reminders to tell you when you have spent more than a certain time in a particular activity that you don't want it to. What is your homework? And that is to start a list of estimated time you're spending working on different projects. So my approach is always to start small, baby steps, and later on moving to bigger goals. So the first baby steps that I would recommend for you is to maybe start tracking time of how you're spending your day and what activities you are doing. Start focusing first on those activities that are just for complete leisure. For instance, if you are just browsing the web, if you are reading the news, if you are just checking emails a necessary amount of time throughout the day, just add those 2 minutes, 5 minutes. Are you checking your phone, every 5 minutes throughout the day, 20 times a day, 50 times a day? Are you spending about 2 minutes every time? Is that about 60 minutes a day or 120 minutes a day? Right? Just start trying to find where are those opportunities from a personal perspective, and then start making a conscious decision about improving your time control and your productivity. And then from there, once you have accomplished that, maybe work on that for about 3 weeks, give it a good try, then start using one of these tools like I talked to you before, Rescue Time, and the other one, Get Harvest. Okay, will be good opportunities for you to try to test and see what fits you better. And then from there you can start adding one project, or it can be one customer, and then just start with you and get a good usage of the app, and then just kind of give it a try, find those roadblocks, try to eliminate them, and then from there you can expand to your whole team. The goal is to stay laser focused, to be able to boost your productivity, your efficiencies, and your effectiveness overall. If you haven't joined our community yet of entrepreneurs and intrapreneurs, you're invited to join at jllbmedia.com, and then just fill out the subscribe to the newsletter form. Again, this is a community of entrepreneurs just like you. See you at the next class.